Hello, and welcome back to 2 Minute Review on the Writer's Block, where I try to review books, movies, and TV shows and keep my thoughts to 2 minutes-ish. It's a very loose rule. If you saw my last video, my goodbye video, it was supposed to be my last video for a while because you may remember I have injured my arm, and so I've been trying to spend as little time as possible on the computer, even though I do need to work on the computer often for 7 or 8 hours a day, and so I've been trying to minimize the excess time I spend on the computer doing hobbies such as YouTube videos. But I thought that 2 minute review video could work because I could just shoot it, not edit it, and just upload it and see how it goes, and still be able to post some of my thoughts on the YouTube. So bear with me. Thanks for the long-winded explanation and sticking through it. Thanks to me, I guess. This is unedited, unscripted, just, so yeah, I'm going to be saying a lot and may stumble over my words. But let's go. Rings of Power, episodes 1 and 2. I thought it was okay. I've honestly tried to keep myself kind of aloof from the lead up to this show. I've watched the trailers and the teasers, and I thought they were all right. The show, I thought the last trailer was pretty bad. Mostly the music, honestly. And I've been worried about the characterization of Galadriel going into this just from watching the trailers. I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan. I read the books about every year and watch the movies twice a year. I came into the fandom when I was about 9 or 10 years old and went and saw the Fellowship of the Ring in theaters, and it just blew me away. It was a very memorable experience for me, and those, to this day, those are my favorite movies. And when I read The Hobbit and then read the Lord of the Rings thereafter, and I've read them many times since, and I love them. But these books, I've also read the Silmarillion. I may do a review on that, as I read it for the first time recently. I kind of read it so I would be more versed in the mythology of Middle-earth going into the Rings of Power. It's a difficult read. I don't think I could concisely retell or recap that book to anyone, and I can understand why people both love it and don't love it. But the Rings of Power, I thought it was okay. Comparing it to Peter Jackson's films, it's just not that interesting, honestly. It's kind of boring in comparison. The morning after I watched episodes 1 and 2, I turned on the Fellowship of the Ring, and I just, was instantly drawn back into those movies, and I wanted to watch all 9 or 10 hours of the extended editions. I just wanted to blow through my Saturday doing that. I didn't, because I had some other things I needed to do, but I wanted to. And I didn't feel that same sense of momentum from the Rings of Power. It was okay. I'm not really looking forward to episode 3 all that much. Nothing has really hooked me yet. The music is good, but it doesn't hold a candle to the original soundtrack from Peter Jackson's films. And it also seems like these movies are just, they have their own story to tell. They're not really interested in telling the story that Tolkien has outlined in his notes, and they're not really relying on the lore that's set up in the Silmarillion. They don't have the rights to the Silmarillion. But for me, the biggest problem with this show is the characterization of Galadriel, and that was my worry going into the show. And I'm not sure what they're doing. I thought she has the same problem as Superman, in that she is essentially perfect. She's better than everyone at everything, and they make a point of showing that. And she knows that she's right and everyone else is wrong, and we as the audience also know that she's right and everyone else is wrong. But I don't know. I didn't buy into it, because there's not a lot of evidence that's backing her up. The show should have done more to give her to give her evidence that she is right and everyone else is wrong. Instead it just kind of seems like she's right because the story needs her to be right and needs everyone else to be wrong. I thought the prologue was not very good. The Fellowship of the Ring has one of the best prologues in movie history, and this is just nowhere near that. And it's inevitable that you're going to have to compare this to the Fellowship of the Ring and the Lord of the Rings films by Peter Jackson, because that's essentially what this is a prequel. It has to be compared to that. That is the standard, and it's a very high standard. And I thought the prologue was bad. Honestly, it was that convoluted, nonsensical metaphor about the rock and the ship. The rock pointing down, and the ship looks up, rock looks down. And then they tried to like bring it together at the end of the first episode, and it just didn't work. The metaphor makes no sense. And then why is Galadriel on a ship, and then she chooses to like be the rock and jumps off the ship down into the water? But I thought that was like what she wasn't supposed to do. I don't know. That metaphor just doesn't work for me. I think there's a lot of things kind of like that in the show. And I'm already way over 2 minutes, so I'm going to try to wrap this up quick. But I think the biggest problem with Galadriel for me is that, you know, she's too perfect. She's not someone that we can really empathize with. This is not how you build a good character. You don't make them perfect or make them so much better than everyone else, basically flawless. And that's not how we sympathize with the character and relate to them. She needs to have flaws. I guess her flaw is that she's kind of hard-headed, kind of. She's hard-headed, and but she doesn't seem to really be. There doesn't seem to be real consequences to that, because we know that she's right. She's rightfully hard-headed and stubborn and feisty and fiery and disagreeable. And so maybe her arc is that she has to learn to be more diplomatic and a leader and put down her sword. Maybe that's the arc she's going for. That would make the most sense, but I don't feel like they properly have set that up because there weren't enough consequences to her actions. Man, if you're gonna jump off a boat in the middle of the ocean, there's gotta be some real consequences to that. And I feel like she's just like, she's Superman. She can swim. She doesn't get tired. Elrond, however, he'll swing the hammer and get super tired. But this girl can just take out an ice troll or a snow troll single-handedly, where it took the entire fellowship. It took their whole team. They barely made it through getting the cave troll in the Fellowship of the Rings in the Mines of Moria, and things are just too easy for her. I don't know. I worry about this. And the thing that's the most worrying to me is I don't see this as being a fulfilling or satisfying character arc, because we know how this arc ends. We know that, because we see it in the prologue to the Lord of the Rings, to the Fellowship of the Ring. We see that Isildur is the one that cuts off the ring from Sauron's hand and defeats Sauron. So why would they set up Galadriel's entire character arc from the opening of this new series to be revenge for Sauron for killing her brother? I don't know. I can't see a satisfying ending, because this is the problem with prequels. You know, we know what's coming. It never feels like Galadriel or Elrond are ever really in danger, because we know where they're going. We know they're going to be in the next films. So, I don't know. It's just, I guess I'll keep watching it, or I might just wait till the whole series is done, and then maybe I can just blast through it. But I don't know. I'm kind of mixed on it. It would take a lot for it to capture me and really draw me in. And so I'm just mixed. I think, talking about some things that are positive, now that we're coming on the 10-minute mark for this 2-minute review, talking about some things that are positive, it looks really nice. I think you can tell that they spent some money on the show. And that's about it. It doesn't really feel like Middle Earth to me. It kind of feels like generic fantasy. and like these writers and showrunners had their own story they wanted to tell, but in order to sell it to anybody, they had to slap the Lord of the Rings brand on it. And that's sad to me. It's kind of like, it's a little bit like Wheel of Time. Honestly, Wheel of Time was worse though, in my opinion. Um, yeah, because Wheel of Time just totally missed the tone of that world, and this is similar. It's a similar problem. It's an ongoing problem in adaptations. I think it's a missed opportunity. I think there could be a really cool anthology series of the Silmarillion. I think that there is a story about the forging of the Rings of Power that could be told really well, and maybe this show will grow into that. I really hope so. I'm not hoping that this show is bad. I'm hoping that it's good. But so far, not super impressed. Not sure that I'll review more episodes in the future, but I said that, didn't I, in my last video, that I wasn't sure that I would do this video, so we'll see what happens. Thanks so much for watching. Thank you to my 131 subscribers, and soon to be 130, 129 maybe. We had 127 the last video, so say hello to my 4 new subscribers. I promise to periodically post videos and share my thoughts. If I can get this healed up, then I will post better videos with better audio quality, microphone, editing, maybe some animation, memes, that kind of thing. And thanks so much for watching. If you'd like to potentially see some more Rings of Power reviews in the future that are similar rants, unscripted, with me stumbling over my words, I invite you to subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.